How many of you actually know where the origin of the Big Bang Theory came from? Well, it came from this Catholic priest or Jesuit priest, Georges Lemaitre. And he was born in July of 1894, died in June 1966. And he was a Roman Catholic priest, astronomer, and professor of physics at this University Catholique. He was the first known academic to propose the theory of the expansion of the universe, widely misattributed to Edwin Hubble. He was also the first to derive what is known as Hubble's law and made the first estimation of what is now called Hubble constant, which he published in 1927, 2 years before the Hubble's article. Lemaitre also proposed what became known as the Big Bang Theory of the universe, which he called his hypothesis of the primeval atom or cosmic egg. So I'm going to play a little bit of this thing on there for you. Now remember, he called this his hypothesis, the primeval atom or the cosmic egg. Let's listen to this real quick.
The man who gave us the scientific concept of the Big Bang worked here, of all places, in this Belgian cathedral. Father Georges Lemaitre, born in 1894, may be the most important physicist you've likely never heard of.
Lemaitre was responsible for the idea that the universe not only is expanding, but that the universe has expanded from a dense state. He called it the primeval atom. Now we call it the Big Bang, but it was his idea.
The seed for the idea,
It was his idea, is what they say.
came from Albert Einstein and his theory of general relativity in the early 20th century. But Einstein himself did not like it. Einstein felt more comfortable in a static, unchanging universe. But Lemaitre took Einstein's chaotic, finite universe to its fiery origin.
If Einstein had had the courage of his convictions in some sense, he would have recognized that the static universe he believed in was not compatible with the theory that he'd come up with.
In general relativity, Einstein proposed that mass warps space and time to create gravity. But if gravity is always pulling in, then what keeps everything from ultimately drawing together into one massive object? Einstein believed there must be another equal counterforce pushing out in opposition to gravity, keeping the eternal universe in perfect balance.
So what Einstein did was he tweaked his own equations with what is called the cosmological constant.
But Einstein was wrong. There was no yin to gravity's yang. Lemaitre correctly believed that there was no cosmological constant. Instead, he found evidence of an expanding universe in Einstein's theories as he studied them in the mid-1920s.
Georges Lemaitre took the original equations and saw that they contained solutions which represented an expanding universe. And of course, not too long after that, Edwin Hubble comes along and by his observation shows the universe actually is expanding.
But what was behind this expansion that overcame the push of gravity? Lemaitre proposed something absolutely radical. If the universe is expanding, then in the past it was smaller. Ultimately, in the distant past, it was infinitely small. A primeval atom, or cosmic egg.
Perhaps there was this cosmic explosion that set the universe into motion. So he would go to various conferences and tap people on the shoulder, and people would smile at him and, basically humor the man.
So there we go. So he called that his theory, and he called it the primeval atom or the cosmic egg. Now remember, he was born in 1894. This is The Secret Doctrine by H.P. Blavatsky. This is published in 1888. So this was published before he was actually born. And so if we go to this page, we have the mundane egg. And it said, whence this universal symbol? The egg was incorporated as a sacred sign in the cosmogony of every people on earth, and was revered on both account of its form and its inner mystery. From the earliest mental conceptions of man, it was known as that which represented the most successfully origin and the secret of being, the gradual development of the imperceptible germ within its closed shell, the inward working, without any apparent outward interference of force, which from a latent nothing produced an active something, needing naught save heat, and which, having gradually evolved into a concrete, living creature, broke its shell, appearing to the outward senses of all self-generated and self-created being, must have been a standing miracle from the beginning. The secret teaching explains the reason for the reverence of the symbolism of the prehistoric races. The first cause, which had no name in the beginnings, later it was pictured in the fancy of thinkers as an ever-invisible, mysterious bird that dropped an egg into chaos, which the chaos becomes the universe. Hence Brahm was called Kalahansa, the swan in space and time. He became the swan of eternity who lays at the beginning of each Mahamanvaranta, a golden egg. It typifies the great circle, or O, itself a symbol for the universe and its spherical bodies. So there we go. So then we have the very beginning, the first cause, the mundane egg that was at the very beginning, and yet somehow this was his idea. This is from Wikipedia. The world egg, cosmic egg, or mundane egg is a mythological motif. So it's mythological now, but it's okay if they mention it, if the scientist mentions it or the Jesuit priest mentions it. Found in the creation myths of many cultures and civilizations. Typically the world egg is the beginning of some sort, and the universe or some primordial being comes into existence by hatching from the egg, sometimes laying on the primordial waters of the earth. And yet this is his idea, they say. Well, if we scroll down further, we get this image right here of the expansion of the universe from a singularity. And all these ancient cultures knew about this as well, from this particular egg or this singularity. And if you take a look at this singularity right here, what it actually is, if we turn it over, we can see that the singularity is actually the same thing that's being shown to us on the pyramids. And the reason the capstone is missing is because the very beginning, which disappears into the unseen universe, they don't account for. That's why the capstone is missing. And when we take a look at the pyramid, it also relates to man as well, because man relates to the universe. We have the very upper part of the pyramid, which relates to the mind. We have this cosmos down here, but it all relates to man as well. But this is what they were showing us with the pyramids. If we take a look again right here, we can see that the peculiar architecture of the pyramid shows in itself the drift of the metaphysical thought of their builders. The apex is lost in the clear blue sky of the land and typifies the primordial point. So the primordial point is sitting at the very top of the pyramid, and the very top of the pyramid represents the singularity. And of course we have the antediluvian arch showing this as well. In this case it's Orion, because there are smaller versions of this type of thing that happen in the universe. So the pyramid is actually a model of the Big Bang Theory. The mundane or cosmic egg was not originally discovered or thought up by Georges Lemaitre, the Jesuit priest. It's been around forever. And the fact that he even used the word cosmic egg, and knowing that it was all over these cultures, should be a red flag. So if you want to know where your Big Bang Theory came from, it came from more than likely ancient Egypt and the ancient cultures. And the cosmic egg theory is found all over cultures. So that is where the scientific beginning of the universe, the Big Bang Theory, actually came from. It came from the mysteries in the ancient cultures. So you scientific folks out there, it might be good for you to know this kind of stuff, so that when you are trying to learn other things and trying to understand our universe better, you might take a few moments to look to the ancients. Y'all take care. Talk to you soon.